All right, guys, so here we go again. As there is a new variant in town, a new COVID variant in town that is freaking out the markets and causing some disruptions, particularly when it comes to travel and other things. As the Dow Jones, right, is having its worst drop of 2021, dropping by over 1,000 points because of this new variant. Now, the main reason that I am covering this story, guys, is because I think it's important to be aware of, this stuff early so that people are prepared to know what could happen in the future, right? Because we've seen the government response before in regards to the shutdowns, the mask mandate, stuff like that. That's kind of what happened when, we had the so-called alpha variant, right? And, we got the vaccines and we thought that it was over, right? And then all of a sudden they're like, oh no, we have a new variant. It's called a Delta variant. So therefore we have to, more mandates, all types of stuff. That's how they justify this stuff, guys, right? And at the end of the day, the people that are really winning from this is Big Pharma, which we're going to talk about here. However, I'm just doing this because this stuff is getting to the point where it's just so predictable, right? We've kind of cooled off talking about the Delta variant in the virus, even though, it's still a thing. We haven't been talking about it as much. And lo and behold, when it's kind of, not talked about as much, now we have a new variant that we got to worry about. So let's actually read a little bit here. And then we're going to take a look at the response to this from a medical professional and Big Pharma. So let's read here. U.S. stocks dropped sharply on Friday as a new COVID variant found in South Africa triggered a global shift away from risk assets. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 1,000 points or 2.8% for its worst day of the year, while the S&P 500 and NASDAQ Composite slid 2.3% and 2.2% respectively. Friday is a shortened trading day because of the Thanksgiving holiday, with markets closing at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. The downward move came after WHO officials on Thursday warned of a new COVID-19 variant that's been detected in South Africa. The new variant contains more mutations to the spike protein, the component of the virus that binds cells, than the highly contagious Delta variant. Because of these mutations, scientists fear it could have increased resistance to vaccines, though WHO said further investigation is needed. The United Kingdom temporarily suspended flights from 6 African countries due to the variant. Israel barred travel to several nations after reporting one case in a traveler. 2 cases were identified in Hong Kong. Belgium also confirmed a case. All right, so here's the thing. The concern is whether or not it's more contagious than the Delta variant. Now, I'm going to actually let you guys listen to a doctor on CNBC and their coverage of this, discuss this variant and what the concerns are. And then after that, we're going to play a video of some of the reactions from Big Pharma, some of whom are having a field day because of this. Take a look.
I think we have our eyes open about this and our eyebrows raised, because apparently the early data would suggest that it touches 2 out of the 3 things that concern us. 1, could it really be more transmissible, more contagious than Delta? Boy, that's hard to imagine. Number 2, could it evade the protection of our current vaccines? That's a potential bother. The third one seems not to be the case, at least so far. Could it make more severe disease? But those first 2 things, contagiousness and evasion of protection, we need to get more laboratory work on this and more epidemiological work on the ground. This is a matter of some serious concern.
Hey, Andrew. So the main concerns with this new variant are the number of mutations on the spike protein, more than 30 identified there, some of which could potentially be associated with increased transmissibility, others potentially with the ability to evade vaccine protection. Now, I was speaking with Moderna CEO Stéphane Bancel this morning about how quickly they could ramp up a new vaccine construct potentially here. He noted they've been able to do this before within 60 days. He said the question of the timing there is the regulatory process from that that point. Can you use antibody data to clear a new variant vaccine, or do you need to run more studies and wait perhaps 2 months there? He said the manufacturing then on top of that would take a couple months, but the companies can do this really quickly. We are also hearing this morning from BioNTech telling us they expect within 2 weeks to get laboratory test results on how well antibodies neutralize this variant. They say that Pfizer and BioNTech have been able to adapt the vaccine within 6 weeks and ship initial batches within 100 days in the event of an escape variant. So they've begun clinical trials with other variant-specific vaccines to Alpha and Delta to collect safety and tolerability data. So all of that will be able to play into this. Guys, what we're showing you right now is some data from South African researchers. We were just showing the little blue section there is how quickly this variant has grown in prevalence in South Africa, looking like it could potentially compete against Delta. But what's really important to remember is that this is just very early days. There are not many cases of this yet, although they are increasing quickly. South Africa is worried about a potential fourth wave from this. Other countries, of course, worried about it as well. Guys?
In terms of therapeutics, obviously we have this Pfizer drug on its way, the Merck drug. We have some new news about it being a little bit less efficacious, if you will, than originally expected. Do we think that those therapeutics would work against this new strain?
The expectation is that they should. The antiviral drugs, Pfizer's is thought to be a pan-coronavirus drug, so it could work against different coronaviruses, not just different variants of this coronavirus. We haven't heard from them yet this morning about that, and of course it will take time to definitively say things like that. Merck's as well, molnupiravir, is very broadly acting, so the expectation is it shouldn't be daunted by mutations like this, but we will need to see the data to say that with more certainty. But those drugs shouldn't be affected. It's the antibody drugs potentially that folks are worried about, specifically Regeneron's and Eli Lilly's. There is some thought that perhaps Vir Biotechnologies and AstraZeneca's could hold up better against this variant because of the way the antibodies are constructed to target the spike protein. But of course, we'll be waiting for lab data on that as well.
All right, guys. So as you guys should have been able to pick up from the videos, it's a little bit too early to tell just how contagious this is or how dangerous it actually is. So quite honestly, I don't know, right? And with that being said, we don't know if our current vaccines will actually work or be as effective against this, right? So somebody like me who's a regular person who just wants to return back to normal life is like, why, right? Just why? This is not a good sign moving forward, because again, there's always a new one, right? Each time it looks like we're trying to get back towards normal. But you know who is happy about this? You know who is loving this right now? Big Pharma. As Pfizer stock is up 5.8% today, right? 5.8%. And Moderna is absolutely crushing it as they're up 22.63% today, right? They're going to be Gucci, right? They're going to be Gucci, and investors know they're going to be Gucci because at the end of the day, Big Pharma is the only people, in my opinion, that are benefiting off of this, okay? Because, it seems to me that at the very least, based off what we heard in that video and kind of how the whole vaccine development process works, these guys apparently have the capabilities of rolling out a new vaccine, right? And they can do that in a very short time frame, right? Relatively speaking. Now, what that means is that they're probably going to be pushing people to get more shots, right? So even though you already got the shot, now guess what? You got to get another shot, okay? Because there's a new variant, just like, they've been pushing people to get booster shots. To me, what it sounds like, based off the news and the market reaction, is that there's probably going to be another push, like very widespread push for more vaccinations if this variant actually spreads the way that some people are fearing. Now, if it is in fact more contagious than the Delta variant, then it seems to me that it is highly possible that it will spread, right? However, again, I'm hoping that doesn't happen, and we just really don't know yet. But I thought it was a good idea to maybe make this video to make you guys aware of kind of what's going on and the possibilities here that we could kind of go backwards once again when it comes to progressing towards normal life when it comes to this variant, because apparently this new variant is scarier than the Delta. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.